Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's March 13th, 2023. We are in the Old Testament. We are in the book of Exodus, and we're going to read chapter 18 today. All right. So, Israelites are in the wilderness, being led by Moses. They just had a fight with Amalek. God showed them his power again by saving them from an enemy. And we get a life in their day at that point, which starts off with Jethro, who is Moses' father-in-law, comes. I guess Moses had sent his wife and daughter off before he went to Pharaoh. So now Jethro, his father-in-law, is bringing his children and his wife to him in the wilderness. And Jethro hears all about what God did, and whoa, he worships God right along with Moses. Says, man, that's an awesome God, all right. Hey, let me watch what you do. Let me see what you do. And he follows Moses around the next day, and he sees an interesting scene. And as we're watching this scene, bear in mind, before this we had patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, head of a family. And a family was less than 100 people. And that worked pretty good for God to tell us what we needed to do. But as they come out of Egypt, there's thousands of them. That system isn't going to work anymore. And when you read what Moses is trying to do to govern these people, he's trying to govern the people like a patriarch, being that head of the family. You got a problem, you come to me and I'll settle it. But there's thousands of people coming to him for all kinds of weird problems, and it's taking him all day long. And he's spending a lot of time deciding things that aren't really that important. And Jethro sees this, and he watches this happen and says, hey, you know what? This is what you need to do. You need to start implementing judges. And that's kind of where we switch over to what's from the patriarchs to the judges. System of judges. You know, set somebody over 100 people. He's going to hear their problems. And if he can settle their problems, great, that's done. They go their way. He can't quite come to a solution everyone agrees on, then we'll have a judge over him, and he can go to him, and maybe judge over 1,000 people. And if they get to a really sticky problem that they really need to go to God, then they can bring that to you. So you just deal with the important stuff and telling people what God's telling them, and deciding the really heavy stuff, and leave the basic everyday governing to some people that you trust. So again, we're going to switch over from a patriarchal system to a judicial system, I guess, a system of judges to give us God's guidance and show us what we're supposed to do. Moses likes that idea. He runs with it, and we see for the rest, pretty much for the rest of these first 5 books, that's the system that they employ until Saul comes along, and then they say, we want a king now. If judges aren't good enough, we want a king. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Exodus chapter 18. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard all that God had done for Moses and for Israel his people, that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back with her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land, and the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Now he had said to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him, and they asked each other about their well-being, and they went into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for in the very thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and offered other sacrifices to offer to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And so it was on the next day that Moses set to judge the people. And the people stood before Moses from morning till evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit and all the people stand before you from morning until evening?" And Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to inquire of God. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws." So Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out, for this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, so that you may bring the difficulties to God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and the work they must do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all times. Then it will be that every great matter they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. If you do this thing, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all this people will also go to their place in peace." So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land. May God bless the reading of his word, and may God bless you. Bye.